Hello all, welcome to another What If series. With me is Hans Starr. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Rob. How are you?
Not too bad. I also have my little midget. Big midget. Can't believe she's going to be 20. So she's going to be sitting in the back there looking at her phone, like most 20-year-olds.
Yeah.
Jesus. Um, because as she put it, my phony is my life. But anyway, and best part about that, she won't disagree with that. So
Uh,
today,
I saw a meme that I'm sorry to interrupt you. I saw a meme that when the coof was kind of winding down the first time, people talking about I can't wait to get out so I can go to other places and hang out with other people and look at my phone.
yeah, basically,
And it
basically,
showed a picture of like all these young people like sitting in a restaurant and all of
yeah,
them were
buried in their
looking at
phone. Yeah,
instead of talking to each other.
yeah. But today we're going to talk about what happens if Dunkirk had been an absolute failure. Now, Dunkirk wasn't a success in the traditional sense that they didn't win the Battle of Dunkirk. What they did do was they were able to get a lot of the troops from France back to England to fight another day. So today, what we'll look at is what happens and what does it look like if those troops don't make it off of Dunkirk and don't get back to England. Which, on the face of it, doesn't sound like a big thing, but we're talking over 100,000 troops made it back.
Yeah, they really put a lot of their troops into that operation. A lot. And at that time, they didn't have a lot to spare if they had
No,
not made it back.
yeah, if that force had not made it back, you just think about the fact that the material lost took a couple of years to rebuild. Now you're talking they lose the manpower as well. I don't know if the Battle of Britain even shakes out the same because you wouldn't have that same manpower to be able
Well,
to do that, or the home defense, because those soldiers that you historically relied on are no longer there.
plus, plus, you have to think of the catastrophic loss of morale.
Oh yeah,
If that many people don't make it back, the country as a whole is going to be like, "What the f? What are we doing?"
yeah,
Everybody's either KIA, MIA, or taking POW. We don't have anybody to A, to defend the country hardly, and B, does that make them want to give up the fight? Not necessarily the people in power, but the country as a whole. The war, I think, would be very negatively looked at. Instead of this great patriotic war, it would be like, no, we're done. We're done with
yeah.
this.
Well, Dunkirk also caught the attention of the United States because they were like, well, okay, maybe they're not done just yet. Maybe
Yeah,
Britain has a fight in this dog, still has a dog in this fight. If
yeah, because
Dunkirk goes south, the optimism that was there after Dunkirk may not have been there, and Churchill
yeah,
would have been backed into a corner.
yeah. I didn't even think about that. I could totally see that United States stepping back and being like, well, they're already done for. We're not
Yeah,
putting manpower into this. We're putting everything into the Pacific. Sorry,
yeah, yeah,
you know.
and Pacific didn't even happen yet.
Well, but yeah,
Um,
I could see them not. I could see them still doing like lend lease and stuff like that. But as far as wanting to get involved manpower wise,
yeah, yeah.
I
I don't
think
know because I,
you know,
I I think it changes everything because just the ability of the Germans for propaganda wise, it would be devastating.
because if the Germans were good at anything, we know they were very good at
Oh yes, they
propaganda.
were. They were very good
They
at that.
they were good at a lot of things that we won't talk about on this stream,
Yes.
but they were extremely good at propaganda.
Yeah. And to have that feather in the cap, for Dunkirk to fail, not only would it be manpower, but the Navy would have taken a hit too. If
Yeah.
all the destroyers had gone down, if the personal craft had gone down, I don't think we're coming out of that the same way we do historically.
Yeah.
Uh,
And instead of being, we drug a horrible situation out of the fire and we rose above, it's, we're screwed,
yeah,
basically.
yeah, because you're looking at really, really messing with the British military ability to repel a landing if there was one. Once the Dunkirk happened and they were able to get those troops home, they at least had a decent standing army within Britain.
Yeah, they at
So
least had a decent home force to
yeah,
repel
yeah,
an attack on the home islands.
and also to send to Africa,
Oh yeah,
right? Which now with the rewrite, if Dunkirk is an absolute failure and the Luftwaffe is able to sink all the ships and they move the tanks in earlier than they did historically, and they're wiped out, it's a different feel coming out of that. It's an absolute different field.
and I think, again, not just manpower, but I think even the public outcry in Britain would have been so strong that whether he wanted to or not, Churchill could have possibly been pushed to the table just from the outcry of the people saying, we've had enough. Look, we've had enough. This is a shit show, for lack of a better term. We're totally screwed.
Yeah, we don't have the ability to fight back. I mean, the material that was lost at Dunkirk is one thing. You can rebuild the material pretty. I mean, I think historically it was about 2 years it took them to get back to that strength. But even still, I mean, you're looking at over 100,000 troops that you can't just replace at a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if Dunkirk goes south, I don't like the chances.
Yeah, and even if they pull from the reserves that are still in Britain, again, that still leaves Britain vulnerable. If we'll say that they send them to Africa, they send them other places, it still leaves them very vulnerable to attack of Britain.
Yeah, well, I don't think Africa, the Africa campaign could have happened like it did historically. They would have had to wait longer.
Yeah,
it would have been a longer wait for that.
They would have been afraid to let anybody leave because they would have had a bare bones force to even repel an amphibious attack.
Yeah,
especially if the Luftwaffe wins the day and controls the channel, and they're low on, and Britain is low on manpower. I think Dolphy, as we like to call him on your shows, well, and when we also did some of these on my shows, I think Operation Sea Lion would have got pushed forward.
Yeah, because with the fall of Dunkirk, if the fall of Dunkirk is those troops don't make it off the beach, and worst case scenario, not only do they not make it off the beach, but they're killed, and the ships sent to get them are sunk, and maybe one or two make it back. It's gonna. I mean, the Royal Navy is not going to be crippled by any stretch of the imagination, but it's going to be a blow. And right then, they couldn't take another blow. I mean, they left whole bunch of material, guns, weapons, tanks.
They were already teetering on the edge at that point anyway.
Yeah.
So stack that on top of it, and that could be what topples
not to mention the public outcry because of how many civilians would have been
Oh
killed
yeah,
in that,
I,
because a
yeah,
lot of those boats were civilian. And not only that, but sometimes it was military driving it, but it was just a commandeered boat, and the owner didn't know it
yeah,
was gone until he went to look at the pier, and oh, my
yeah.
boat's gone.
Um,
It's been
hey,
commandeered by
hey,
the Royal Navy.
hey, Rob, let's go fishing. Whoa, where's my, where's my
Yeah,
boat
my
at?
boat's gone. Yeah, so I mean, if
And there's like
all
a
of
little
that
note
shipping had gone
hanging on a
down,
pylon.
yeah, if the Luftwaffe was able to sink at least a vast majority of that rescue fleet, plus kill a majority of the troops on the beach, I think we're looking at a different war. I'm not so willing to say that the Germans win hands down, but it definitely delays everything moving forward
Oh,
historically.
yeah, it definitely it would definitely delay the timeline, and you almost have to wonder if a I don't know that he would go to the table. Well, we know Churchill historically was not wanting to go to the table, period, no matter what. Would the outcry of the public in Britain make him go to the table? And B, would
Well,
Dolphy even go to the table?
I don't think Winston Churchill would have ever gone to the table.
Yeah,
I think it would be he would lose the House, he would lose the Senate,
yeah.
or he'd lose the House of Lords, and they'd force an election, and he'd be forced out,
But
forced to leave the position.
but then we have to even think, would Dolphy even agree to go to the table, even if that happened? I don't think
Oh yeah,
Dolphy would have went to the table. You think
yeah.
he would
Dolphy
have?
wanted Britain out of the way, so Dolphy
They
would have
wanted
gone
them
to the table.
basically just a speed bump out of the way. Let's just let them
Yeah,
stay over there.
as long as there was a peace treaty, Dolphy was fine because then he could turn the full thing to Russia. That's what he
Yes,
wanted.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
And because I mean, when you have all of continental Europe, some islands across the English Channel aren't as big a deal, and you could always deal with them. You
yeah.
could
He
always
doesn't have
deal
to
with them
protect
later.
his left. He doesn't have to protect his Western Front.
Very good point. Very good point. I didn't
All
even
that
think of that.
material could be shifted over to the east, and you could leave a skeleton crew in the west, and he could attack with double what he went in with to begin with. So yeah, if he could somehow get Britain down, and I mean the Blitz would be different too because they had Dunkirk to rally behind. It wasn't a
Yeah,
major military success, but it was a success. They got the boys home. If they don't have that morale boost, I don't know it, because even historically there were people rumblings within Parliament that Churchill is crazy and we need to end this, and maybe we just need to secure what we have
go.
left.
Yeah, basically
And
go to an isolationist
yeah,
mindset.
yeah, and
Secure
I
what we
think
have to help to hell
yeah,
with
yeah,
everybody in
we did our
mainland
best.
Europe.
It's we're
You
it's
know,
either it comes down to either we lose everything or we keep what we've got.
yeah,
And I could see maybe Churchill getting thrown out because I mean we go to 45, he loses the election right after the war because he's a warmonger, right? So that's how he's framed, right? So because he
yeah.
doesn't trust Russia, which he turns out to be correct.
Well, yeah,
But right, so I mean, I don't know. I think if Dunkirk doesn't go the way it did historically, the war is a completely different idea.
yeah, and
Support at
uh,
home is going to drop. The
yeah,
Blitz starts happening where they start bombing London. Londoners will be less morale than they were to begin with. Um,
and and then like you were saying, you even risk losing the support of your allies, say
yeah,
the United States,
yeah,
um, to help you with equipment, manpower, whatever, and they look at it like, y'all kind of do your thing over there. Y'all are kind of a lost cause.
yeah,
We're not, because as we've both talked about before, we had become an isolationist country after World War One. We were
Yeah.
not ready to engage in another European war because of how horrible World War One World War
Yeah.
One had been. We had basically, like I think Britain would have done if Dunkirk had went the way you're talking about.
Yeah, I think it would
We
have
became an
been.
isolationist country, and we're like, no, we've been
Yeah.
there, done that. It
Been there,
was
done that. Yeah.
cheaper.
Not again. Yeah.
It was a 1 out of 10 would not recommend. So
Yeah.
we're not going back over
Yeah.
there.
So it's. I think if Dunkirk fails, then yeah, we're looking at a serious problem. But with that, I'm going to say thank you to Han. I hope this little chit chat has sparked some creative juices and got people thinking and talking. With that, I'll let Han pimp out his channel and then we'll get out of here.
Hey everybody, I'm youtube.com/Honstar. I do fun weekly live streams Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern. We do Name That Tune, Jackbox Snake, Game Night, if I can speak properly, Rob. I need to use my American English, not the Queen's English. We also do, I have two other people, Chris Knight and it's JJ, that also are kind of part of Team Honstar. Sometimes they do things on Sunday nights. So follow my channel, follow me on Twitter at HonstarYT, and to keep up to date with what's going on. All you need to know about my channel is it's fun live streams. If you show up, it's gonna be fun. No matter what it is, I'm here to have a good time. I'm here to party.
All right, awesome job.
Like a rave.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh yeah, there's an inside baseball joke to that one. But as always, I have karaoke Saturday nights, 9:05 Central. Also, when this goes up, there still should be Band of Brothers. The first week of Band of Brothers will be just ending, and then next week will be the final week of Band of Brothers. I'm not 100% on channels, but do tune into that. I'll be tweeting out most of them, so
I need to rewatch that again. Every couple years, I rewatch the entire
it's a great series. Absolutely amazing series. Pat has put that together, so keep your eyes out for those. Those are always good. It's going to be on different channels. So I've already hosted one on History with R&R last Tuesday. Loki started us off. Well, actually, Purple started us off, and then Loki. Also, we'll have History with R&R on Monday. And live, I believe we're returning to our normal time slot of 11 a.m. And other than that, and History with R&R will also have, probably on the same day this releases, either before or at the same time, we'll have the roundtable discussion on Market Garden. So with all that...
That's going to be very good.
With that, take her easy, folks.